Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I thought today I would talk about what I would personally like to see in infantry, to be honest, with Gaijin announcing that the third testing phase is coming in for infantry, the CBT number 3. My personal opinions on it and thoughts have kind of been going all over the place, and I've been trying to think of what nowadays do I actually want from an FPS. As somebody who's played a lot of FPSs over the years, played solo, or single player FPSs, cooperative, and also multiplayer FPSs, all over the place. I still remember when I played the original Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and also stuff like the original kind of like Call of Duties as well, 1, 2, and 3. I still remember Finest Hour. I played stuff like Medal of Honor back in the day, the PS1 version. I even remember stuff like Medal of Honor Airborne, which was a fantastic game. And with War Thunder and Infantry, it's the first time in a very long time that we actually have a kind of new standalone mode. I think the last one that I would actually talk about being a standalone mode would be Naval, which came out a very, very long time ago. You obviously have the PvE stuff, which has been, developed and worked on, but that's kind of a side project. You have the simulator battle stuff, which changed, and a lot of different modes that have been tried and tested, but nothing like Infantry, which is going to be its own beast in terms of the game. And for me, I've just been trying to work out what I want from it. As someone who played a lot of Enlisted, which is another Gaijin product, an FPS based in the Second World War, based around a squad mechanic, I enjoyed Enlisted when it started. And then Enlisted kept adding more mechanics and kept adding basically mechanics which made the standard infantry member fodder, because it's based around this squad mechanic, which is really cool. It's the only game that I think actually does this, where you can quick switch between a squad that you bring in. Different squad members have different setups. So you have an engineer that can build stuff, you have, an AT guy, and all of this. And it was just really cool because it meant that if you died, you could, quick switch to another member of your team, and you could then fight straight away again. So it made the action super quick, super fast, and really fun. And then they added a bunch of tanks, which just annihilated everything. Then they added a bunch of planes, which annihilated everything. And then they added a bunch of mechanics, like just ridiculous ones, such as airstrikes, which just annihilate the whole map. And also, they started adding even AA guns, which, guess what, weren't used for AA, they were used for mowing down infantry. So what happened with the Enlisted game is the core of it, which was supposed to be the infantry part, just got turned into cannon fodder. And that meant that if you had, let's say, 8 to 10 people on each team, you had 2 or 3 people in vehicles, and then the rest were in infantry, and the infantry were just getting slaughtered. And it just pretty much meant you were just cycling vehicles, because if you did anything else, you got your head caved in. It just wasn't very fun. So for me, with War Thunder Infantry, I think the squad mode type idea could definitely work, and I think it would be really good. But the issue is, once again, they're going very heavy on the vehicles in this mode, and also they're not doing the squad thing, they're doing the individual thing too. So it's just turning into kind of a Battlefield light situation, and maybe that's what people want when it comes to a free-to-play game. Maybe they want a similar situation that's going to be constantly developed. They're going to add new things, they're going to try new weapons, they're going to do events around it, and obviously, the standard core progression of War Thunder, it looks like we're going to be researching through guns, which are attached to infantry members. Then you research through the infantry member, and then you get the next one, and then so on and so forth. And all of these types of things, which sounds, pretty fun. But at the same time, if it's just the same as another game, such as Battlefield, but slightly worse or less defined, since it's by a dev team which don't have as much experience, I just don't really understand why I would want to kind of play that. Maybe, as I said, it is the free-to-play element, but for me, the free-to-play element in an FPS is actually more of an issue in terms of the actual kind of grind of it, right? I would rather just play a paid one at that point, get access to the weapons and levels, and then not have to worry too much about grinding out specific infantry members that are going to be worse than others. And at the same time, with the vehicles, the way that they're modeled in War Thunder, since they're going for the highest highest tier of the vehicles, the ones which are incredibly powerful, once again, infantry is just going to get turned into fodder. So I just don't really get who they're trying to help here, apart from, once again, it's just the guys who like stuff like Battlefield. Gaijin has made a bunch of FPSs in the past. You know, obviously you have Enlisted itself, which is still got a decent sized player base, surprisingly. And then also you have Active Matter, which is in, you know, active kind of updating. It's in early access still. I think it gets released on Steam this year, but Active Matter is super fun. But it's also an extraction shooter, which has a difference to it. It has a lot of the anomaly stuff set in it, and it's another game where there's just a lot of stuff happening at once. With War Thunder Infantry, so far with the different tests, all I kind of feel like is it's a generic game which is trying to copy a bunch of other generic games which are in the genre, and hoping that the free-to-play model on it is the one that kind of entices people in. Basically making it so, guess what? You don't actually have to, you know, pay to get into it, so therefore players are going to play it because of that. And maybe that's the case. Maybe that will happen. But for me, personally, I just don't understand why that would be appealing specifically for me. Nowadays, compared to like maybe a decade ago, like when I had started doing YouTube stuff, which was a long time ago, I was in university. I had absolutely no money. I struggled even just to pay for rent and food. It was an insane time of my life, and it was very rough. The reason why I actually started doing YouTube stuff is because it didn't really cost any money to do, and I needed something to take my mind off doing the university stuff. And at the same time, I wanted to try and gain a bit of confidence in terms of like public speaking, because it was going to be useful for job stuff later on. And guess what? It was. It helped me out a lot, and it made me a lot more comfortable with kind of who I am and what I do. Nowadays, I have, you know, a job, and I don't mean like the online stuff. I mean an actual job which provides money, which means that I have a bit of expendable income, and if I want to play some kind of experience somewhere else, I can do. And I play a lot of RTSs, a lot of strategy games, and kind of enjoy it. Whereas with the War Thunder Infantry pod, I'm trying to work out what do I get out of this compared to all of the other games that are also in the genre. Maybe there will be something. Maybe there'll be a hook. Like, one of the things that Gaijin have always been good at is figuring out a hook to the game. It used to be kind of the mouse aim stuff, right? The mouse aim stuff for War Thunder is what makes it unique compared to everything else. The smoothness of playing the tanks, the smoothness of playing the planes and helicopters, and even the naval vehicles, it all works great. In infantry right now, that smoothness is not there. It's janky as all hell. So that's obviously not the part of it. So what is something that sets it apart from everything else? Now, if they added back the squad-based mechanic from Enlisted, or if they had two separate modes, you had the solo mode and then the squad-based mode, instead of this arcade and realistic idea, you could definitely do something like that. And you could set up your guys accordingly. If they add in kind of unique weapons, maybe that would be a way to do it. Maybe the interactions between all the different vehicles, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe the battle pass, or maybe the dailies or the special setup. Maybe all of these could definitely, you know, happen. But at least right now, I just don't see what it offers that is different compared to other areas of the gaming industry. And I think that's kind of the problem that Gaijin are running into. What separates this from other areas, apart from you can get access to this one straight away? So I don't know how that's going to work. Infantry is still in its kind of early stages of development. They're probably going to do more CBTs as it goes along, and then they'll probably sell some packs, so therefore you can get access to them. And then on top of that, you'll probably get access to a bunch of other stuff as well once it gets into OBT, with different nations and also different weapons and all of these different things. It's obviously going to be a growth area for Gaijin, and they're going to try to make it a growth area. I just need to work out what, at least to me, ties it to the game. I personally prefer more PvE experiences nowadays. I like cooperative stuff. War Thunder is pretty much the only PvP game that I play, and the reason for that is because I think War Thunder's PvP gives me something that a lot of other games don't. Whereas with the infantry game mode, it just seems like it's going to be the same as a lot of other infantry game modes that exist. So I don't know how that's going to work in terms of it. Hopefully, it's good, and hopefully everything goes on. I just need to understand, what is the difference? What am I getting out of it compared to other products? Let me know what you think, and as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.